Alrighty, so we're going to go over the brainstem activity from yesterday. Believe everybody turned that in. Oh, what am I doing? American history. What the heck? Way off. Home front, United States. Oh, geez, out there. Okay, brainstem. Let me bring up this attachment here. Is that okay with the picture? I figured that would be easier to do rather than like a PDF or a doc, because PDFs aren't working from what I hear, right? Kind of not. Yeah, depends who you are, I guess. It picks and chooses.
I think it's more updated with the update you can't, but if you didn't update it.
Oh, I got you. I got you. Okay. Okay. All right. So let's go. Let's start with this location right here. What do we have here? We'll work our way around the room. Sarah, what do you have?
The upper left.
Oh, I froze it. Sorry. Yeah, we'll start upper left, like we're reading or something. Top left. What do we have?
Thalamus.
The thalamus. Good job. So that's 4. So if you wanted to, you can put thalamus up here. If you wanted, you could just put the number 4. That's fine. And what is the function of the thalamus?
I said it's a pair of egg-shaped structures that serve as the central processing chip of the brain. It directs all incoming and outgoing sensory motor.
Yeah, good job. So the thalamus is kind of considered the midbrain. All right. I know we talked about yesterday the brainstem being the hindbrain, but the thalamus, since it juts up into the middle part, the inner part of the brain, they consider it the midbrain. All right. And the thalamus is like that processing chip, like we talked about. Okay. It is really directing incoming and outgoing information. Right. So from the sensory neurons, the motor neurons, you name it. Okay, it's directing where that information is going to be sent up into the brain, into the cerebral cortex, what we'll talk about tomorrow, or the limbic system, and how that information is being processed in the brain to be sent down as a reaction, okay, to the rest of the body. So that's a very, very important part. If you lose that, I don't know what the heck happens. I don't want to know, right? Okay, what do we have next here? Oh, looks like the bulbs here. The bulb. What do we got here, Campbell? Yeah, Campbell. The pons. Good job. And that means bridge, literally in Latin. And what is a function of the pons?
It relays signals to the cerebellum.
Yeah, it relays signals to the cerebellum. Okay.
It does sleeping, respiration, swallowing, involuntary movements.
Yeah, a lot of these parts of the brainstem is involuntary movements. Okay, sleeping, respiration. Okay, blood pressure, cardiovascular. Many different things like that. Good job, good job. All right, moving on now. So the bundle fibers here. What do we got here, Booker? Particular formation, good. So that's 3, and describe that. Yeah, it keeps the brain awake and alert, right? So that it's ready to function and it's receiving those information, the sensory information to send up to that thalamus. Good. All right. Finally, last one, the bottom. What do we got, Hannah? The medulla. Good job. And what is the functions of medulla? Yeah, breathing, blood pressure. Okay, other involuntary movements like sneezing. Okay, vomiting. Hopefully that doesn't happen too often. And yeah, good job. All right, so I think the pons as well. What facial movements, facial expressions, like things like that. Okay, tear production, salivation. Okay, you name it. All right, is there any questions on that? The brainstem. Like I mentioned, all organisms have brainstem. Okay, it's just how we evolved over time as humans and other organisms as well, is where we'll develop more of a cerebral cortex and limbic system where we have past and present memories, and we can schedule things, we can have rational thought, critical thinking, you name it. Okay, so okay, good stuff. No vocab for today, but I want to get the bell ringer up and going. So bell ringer for today. Really just summarizing what we went over yesterday. Describe the basic functions of the brainstem. So if you want to, you can include all individual parts, but I'm just looking for the basic functions of the brainstem. Eden, current event for tomorrow, because I won't be here Friday. So make sure you have that current event ready to roll for tomorrow. Wonder if she heard it. What do you think? No. You don't think she's watching it? Oh, no. Not even the bell ringer. Okay. That's why I said it during a bell ringer. So I figured she'd catch it then. Aye. You plan to go bowling with your grandparents?
Maybe when they come home.
Okay. All right.
They're always trying to drag me along.
Oh, yeah? Nice. Who knows? Maybe when you go, you might see me there rolling strikes.
They haven't gone in a while, though.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. I haven't gone in a while either. Well, I went to the Pottsville Alley not too long ago. That was pretty good. I like those lanes. Evil used to have good bowling lanes. Bowling alley. The heck? Darn it. This would be a cool hangout. Had an arcade there. Oh. You all remember Bumblebee Hollow too? No.
I mean, I remember it being there, but
I got you. That was so fun. That used to be my place to go when it was my birthday when I was younger. Oh, let's go drive some ball. Let's go karts. And then they had a batting cage, paintball too. It was awesome. Didn't have much for food then at the time. I think just like soft pretzels. Still awesome. Well, obviously mini golf. That was there. Dang, miss it. And then we go get Rita's. Rita's Italian Ice. Remember when Rita's was there? Oh, darn. First day of spring, you usually get a free ice. Yeah. All right. So describe the basic functions of the brainstem. What do we have here? What do we have? Bueller? No. Campbell, go ahead.
okay, so I said it regulates the area between the spinal cord and the brain, monitors messages, and controls involved.
Yeah, good job. Good job. So it's really that a bridge from the nervous system up to the brain. It's involuntary movements. It's regulating many of these things that we don't have to think about, these functions. So blood pressure, okay, we know that's heart rate. We know that's breathing. Okay, many of these movements that we don't have to think about, that we don't even have to worry about. I think the pawns as well as bladder control. Oh boy. So when you're older, well, yeah, I'm just kidding. All right, good. So brainstem, keeping the mind awake and alert, and it's really that I guess bridge from the nervous system, transferring information from the body to the brain, from the brain to the body. The messenger. Okay. Moving on here now. Lights went out. So reading, I'd like you guys to check out 157. Again, it's same page there. The limbic system, there's not too much. Okay, I promise you, not too much there. It's at the bottom page, 157. And that is really just describing some of the parts and functions we're going to get into today. Oh, sorry, 161. 161. It's right at the bottom. It says the limbic system, found in the core of the forebrain, composed of a number of different structures in the brain, regulate our emotions. There we go. Do you like Green Day, Sarah?
Yeah.
I love Green Day.
I just had to bring it out to be festive.
I like it. Update on the iPad. Should I do it? I don't know if it'll mess anything up.
After I updated mine, then oh no, that was Classroom.
Ooh, okay.
That was Classroom. Once I updated Classroom, I couldn't edit it.
I don't really edit PDFs on the iPad though.
That's how I did like all my.
Yeah.
I did my whole. Yeah. I just do it on paper.
Just do it on paper. Yeah,
Because
that's
the
probably the
markup
best way.
saves like different copies to your Google Drive,
Yeah.
and it's confusing because even though I edited it, it saves to my Google Drive. Like his author could see all my work. It's like. She's like, oh, what? She's like, why do you only have 5 questions done and turned it in? I was like, I did all of them.
Oh, so that's how.
It saved in my Google Drive, but it didn't turn in right there. I was like, I'm not dealing with that, so I just do it on paper.
Yeah. I'm gonna say there's a couple of remote students that it just looked like there's nothing there. So you didn't attach anything. That makes sense now. And it's some of the students that I know would do it. That would do the assignment. So.
It's like markup. She showed me how to do it. You get markup.
Oh, okay.
You can do that from in here instead of screenshotting it and doing it in your photos.
Markup.
Yeah, you can do. You know how you can do markup to like your photos and your photo album?
Yeah.
I guess there's a way to do that in Classroom too.
Ooh.
Which
Okay.
is what this author showed me, but then it doesn't save my version. Like I edited it multiple times to do my math homework. And just when I submitted it, even though for me it looked like I did all my work, the whole thing I guess submitted an earlier edited version. I don't know. It's just stupid, so I just do it on paper. I don't feel like.
You're gonna have to show me how to do the markup then. Do you know how to do it? Remember?
Yeah.
All right, cool. You'll have to show me how you do that then. Because I get it all the time. I can't do this. Can't. What? Hey, you can.
I don't know how Miss Hoffman figured it out, but she was showing us.
Oh, I think I told her about the screenshot and doing your photos, but I mean that kind of gets old after a while. It's a little tiresome. All right, okay, here we go. So we talked about that brainstem, okay, and I wanted to make sure I hit on the cerebellum. Did I mention this yesterday? Okay, yeah, all right. So with posture, with balance, okay, that's what the cerebellum is all about. So like I mentioned before, hopefully not now or anything, but when you're 21, okay, when you can, cerebellum is what is affected by alcohol. Okay, with balance, posture, it's kind of where you get the stumbling around from. All right, the limbic system. Okay, the limbic system. All right, limbic literally means border. Okay, it means edge. That's what it means in Latin. These people are coming up with all these cool names. So yeah, limbic means edge, means border. And the basic functions of the limbic system is really just emotion and memory. Okay, so when I ask that bell ringer tomorrow, just emotion and memory. All right, so with the limbic system, this is like the inner bladder of the cerebellum. Okay, that's why they call it a border, because it borders the cerebellum, and how that is like the inner bladder. And like I mentioned before, that brainstem kind of juts up inside of that cerebellum, and it folds over top of the brainstem. And the limbic system is that inner part, the inner border, the inner bladder of the I guess you could say that the corpus callosum, right? And corpus callosum folds over top of the limbic system, and the brainstem comes up inside. So when you look at the brainstem, where the thalamus is at, it's really right up here. Okay, we're close to the hypothalamus, right? That's kind of a way you can maybe visualize it in your mind. That corpus callosum folds over top. That's what we visualize and see when we look at a brain. In the limbic system, we don't really see that. It's inside, like I mentioned, it's that inner bladder inside of the corpus callosum. The brainstem juts up inside, and we all know the cerebellum, the little brain, is right behind, underneath of the corpus callosum, where they call it the little brain. Right? You guys good with that? I think I may have said cerebellum at first, where I actually meant corpus callosum. Or sorry. What am I getting at? Yeah. Hold on. Am I messing up the names here? Cerebral cortex. Oh my gosh. So many names here. My bad. Mine not bad. Cerebral cortex. Corpus callosum is the fissure connecting the two hemispheres together. I don't want to confuse you. My bad. My bad. Okay. Cerebral cortex is the outer part where we visualize and can see the brain. That's what we visualize. That's what we see when we look at a brain. And cerebral cortex, inside of it is the limbic system, what we're going to be talking about today. All right. Oh, I knew I was missing something. I knew I was like saying something. My bad. And the cerebellum is the little brain that is right underneath the cerebral cortex. Okay. All right. So the limbic system, like I mentioned before, it is dealing with emotion. It's dealing with pleasure, aggression. It's dealing with memory. Okay, and that's the basic functions of the limbic system. These cat experience, it's kind of interesting. The amygdala, all right, that's going to be dealing with fear and aggression. And there's some experiments done on cats to see how aggressive they can be if there's fissures or if they cut out maybe parts of the amygdala, and to see how they would react, to see how they would, I guess you could say, react to certain experiences. And I tell you what, I think my cat is missing a little bit of its amygdala, right? That thing is just crazy. Yesterday, holy cow, was he just a menace. Oh, I wanted to grab him and chuck him off the wall. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, I'm recorded. I can't say that. But he is just something, man. But there is experiments on it. If you want to check it out, it's interesting. It's seeing how many of these different types of mammals, right, these different types of organisms would react if this part of the brain is maybe taken out, or if it's a missing part of it. And we'll talk about the amygdala here soon and how that's relating to fear and aggression and I guess you could say hostility in a way. All right, so that being said, hippocampus. All right, so the hippocampus, there's actually two of them. So you can call them hippocampi, right, when you're talking about two of them. And they are like the arms that branch off of the hypothalamus, which we'll talk about here soon. The hippocampuses are these arm-shaped parts of the limbic system of the brain that branches off, which we'll get to the hypothalamus, okay? And the hippocampus, the hippocampi, its functions is really just to represent experience with past memories, okay? How we're trying to resemble experience and what our memories are on past memories. That's how we experience it and maybe react to certain situations, and how we can remember certain things from our past memories and our past experiences. The hippocampus, the hippocampi, right, the two branches when you're looking at it, that's what their main function is. And it relates well with sensation. Okay, when we talk about the sensory cortex and the cerebral cortex, there we go. I ain't messing up this time here. The sensory cortex is located right here, okay, on the cerebral cortex. Okay, that is really right behind the frontal lobe. Okay, and the limbic system, the hippocampus especially, it relates well with sensation. There's a connection between the two. And that's how we can maybe walk into a pizza place or a food place that we know and love, right? We know what we're going to get. We smell that aroma. We smell the ingredients, I guess you could say. And we can say, you know what? Yeah, I had a great meal here the last time. I remember what I got. This burger is awesome. I'm going to, I can remember it from my past experience. And that's a good example of how the hippocampus, the hippocampi, relates those past and present memories to sensations, to things that we obviously experienced before. Same thing with many different. There's 100 different scenarios you can come up with, like with athletics. Okay, when you're representing past and present memories, and you're trying to perform a task or relate back to those past experiences. I remember my dad was trying to teach me boxing one time when I was really young. Oh my gosh! He said, "You can have the gloves." I'm like, "Where are your gloves?" He goes, "I don't need them." I'm like, "Oh, this could get really bad." All right. So he's sitting there. He goes, "All right, wing away." So he has his hands up, and I'm just throwing. I'm haymaker left and right, haymaker. And he goes, "What are you doing?" And he just like boom, smacks me. I'm like, what the heck? He goes, "You got to keep your hands up, right? If you don't have your hands up, how are you going to protect yourself?" I'm like, "Oh, I remember that from last time. I ain't going to do that again. I don't want to get smacked again." So there I am, just boom, jabbing back. So that's how I can maybe give a good example of past and present memories getting destroyed there with that. Or don't let your mom get to number 3. I remember my mom, whenever I did something bad, she'd always go 1, 2, 3. And then she'd come out with the wooden spoon and just beat me up. Oh my gosh, terrible. Then after a while, she broke the spoon over my back the one time. I said, all right, yeah, let's go. What are you going to do now? I said, I ain't afraid to get to 3. What's 4? I can't wait to see this. I bet you 4 was a jab with it since it was broke. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. Now I'm getting a little out of hand here. All right, so amygdala. So this is like the cuffs off the branch of the hippocampus, the hippocampi. All right, I kind of compare it to this. Like you have your arms, a hippocampi, right? And then the amygdala is like your fists at the end. Okay, that's a great way to resemble it. How to maybe picture it in your mind when you're thinking of the mind and when you have to label the limbic system. The amygdala branches off that hippocampus, the hippocampi, and they look like the fists branching off the arms. Okay, it also has relating to memory and emotion, but mostly aggression. Okay, mostly, I guess you could say, not violence, but our aggressive nature. Okay, fear as well. Okay, fear. A lot of these emotions, a lot of these different things are focused here in the amygdala. So with aggression, with fear, and that's interesting. Those experiments, those cat experiments. Oh boy, I bet you mine got my cat Jack he's missing his amygdala. He's something else. Aggressive. Our boy episode yesterday, the amygdala. Oh, why are alligators so ornery? Well, because they're missing a toothbrush, right? That's maybe the reason why they're so aggressive. I'm just kidding. I thought that skit was kind of funny though. All right, so is everybody good with the amygdala? So aggression, okay, fear, emotions like that, and then obviously with memory as well. That's kind of focused as well with the hippocampus being located right next to it. All right, hypothalamus. The hypothalamus, all right, right up very close to where the thalamus is located. It actually kind of surrounds the thalamus. And this is a part of the limbic system that analyzes blood flow in the body. Okay, it regulates our body temperature, fluid levels, and nutrients. Detects imbalances within the body. And it really just is how we respond when we have these imbalances. When we're hungry, when we're thirsty, that's a great example. Maybe when we're about to get involved into an activity, our adrenaline starts flowing. Okay, this is where this is located to trigger these sort of hormone levels and really try to combat against some of these imbalances. And obviously, when we're starting to maybe rest, when we're starting to maybe get out of this sort of activity, it's triggering us to try to calm down and resort to maybe releasing less adrenaline at that time. So the hypothalamus connected right close to what where the thalamus is, and regulating these types of messages, and this type of incoming and outgoing information coming from the mind, from the body. All right, you guys good with that? Okay. All right. So there's many experiments on the hypothalamus, the amygdala, the hippocampus, and I'd like you guys to look some of those up. Maybe come tomorrow with maybe an experiment that was done on some of these different parts of the brain. And there's actually a neat story. It's in your book. I was going to sign it, but I have this limbic system worksheet activity for you to work on today. So how about I wait maybe for Friday to do that? It's a really neat reading. During the time of the 1800s, when they're creating these railroad systems, 1900s maybe it was, early 1900s, there was a man who was in an accident. One of the beams kind of went right up through his head. Okay, they thought he was dead. They didn't think he was going to survive. But when they pulled it out, it actually affected some of where his hippocampus was located in his amygdala. And he was acting irrational. He was aggressive. Okay, he actually lost some of his memory, and it's a neat story. Okay, it's very unfortunate for the man, but his personality changed right like that. His emotional change. He had a lot of different. It's almost like he was bipolar in a way. And there's a story in your book about it, and I kind of want to share that with you. Maybe Friday. Does that work? All right, that's a cool, neat story. And like I said, the limbic system main functions emotion and memory. Okay, and when these parts of the brain are affected, it could result into many different types of disorders that could cause issues, obviously socially with people, and with understanding information and concepts could really cause problems to someone when they're trying to remember, either from the short term or the long term memories. Okay, we'll get to that more in the upcoming chapters and with memories and how they're stored, and especially with sleep and the unconscious mind a little bit more in detail. All right, so like I mentioned, we'll get to the cerebral cortex tomorrow. Okay, I butchered that up earlier today. I was saying the corpus callosum. Oh my gosh, my bad on that. I won't forget tomorrow, I promise. So cerebral cortex, we'll get into that. All right, any questions on it? We go to with the limbic system. Okay, so I'm going to post this for you now. I don't know if it posted for you yet or not, but have this finished for tomorrow. Have this finished for tomorrow.